Greetings and welcome back, I'm the Angrynator, and today I thought we could take a look at Gadget and the Gadgetinis on the PS2.
I have some background story with both the game and the actual show. I remember when they first aired it, I was so excited to see Gadget in new art and animation, since the old one was a bit stale in my opinion at that time.
You know, everybody had that time in their life when they said, fuck that old shit, this new stuff is way better. Then you discover nostalgia and everything new is just pure shit.
Well, time to put the game in and try it out. It starts with the logo of Hip Games as well as this elf dude from Ecosystem Incorporated. We start the game up with the menu containing new game, load game and options. No credits.
And that is why Hip Games wins over Blast Entertainment. They at least keeps the credits at the end.
After we entered the game, we agreed to a not so impressive cutscene of mad agents walking and running around.
Those despicable devils.
After that we agreed to a still image of Gadget and Nosehair, but he informs us and Gadget about the situation. Apparently Mad is leaking out mad gas, which is turning people mad.
All we need now is the Mad magazine and it'll truly be a party.
And of course it is up to our hero to stop it. Onto the actual stage. First stage out of 4, yeah, it even says so on the back that there's only 4 levels in the game.
You know, had this been the NES era, that would mean the game would be hard as balls. But it is the PS2 era, and in that case, it just means the creators were lazy assholes, and it's for kids. Who gives a fuck?
The first stage is Las Vegas, a rather popular target for these cartoon villains really. The controls are simple enough: square to punch, triangle to use go-go gadget legs, circle for the helicopter and X to simply jump. Simple. I must admit though that the controls feel sluggish. Not as much as the Casper video games, but it's still bad.
You sorta have to adapt to the game's shit factor, and once you've done that, it's not that bad.
Every time you get to a new obstacle, Penny is there to tell us all about it in her most British voice ever.
The target above you allows you to know where you're going to land.
Now wait a minute, Penny's not British? What the hell? Anyway, that's the least of our problems. She talks about the different obstacles with this GIF, or is it GIF? And never mind. It's a 1-second loop of her mouth opening and closing. Even as a child, I would find this stupid. It's like I talk like this throughout the entire episode. Wouldn't that be fun? As we progress through the stage, there's these orbs to collect. Collect I think 400 and you can upgrade your punch.
Because running around the entire stage for 400 orbs is apparently a fun thing to do.
Thing about punching I realized is when an enemy is in front of you as well as a box, your punch just homes in on the box first. Come on, it's ridiculous. What's the point of homing attacks if they hit what you obviously doesn't want them to?
Whoever programmed this must be fucking insane. I can just imagine this guy coming home from a hard day's work, having created the best possible homing system yet to exist. And he's tired. He just wants to sit down and relax with his wife, and BAM! She's fucking banging a wooden box! That made him so pissed that the very next day, he created a homing system to destroy all boxes.
There's not a lot of variety in terms of enemies. There's the brute homing in on you and attacking, then there's the gas bomber shooting bombs at you, and that's basically it. The other stages are the same 2 guys, just with a reskin. Because that's fucking fun. Gee, I wonder what the next stage have of enemies. Oh boy, the same 2 guys just in suits. Well, back to Gadget. As many other games, it also involves some platforming, rather simple to begin with, really. And also, I mentioned before the go-go gadget helicopter, right? And you're probably thinking, sweet, you can just fly around the game at free, that sounds awesome. But no, it's not. Trust me, if they gave you free roam flying, you had to go through fucking rings. No, the real use behind the helicopter is this.
That's fucking it. You point the crosshair where you want to go, you press circle again, and then off you go. Isn't that a great way to use a helicopter, kids?
Every time you're about halfway through a level, you get these small Gadgetinis levels, which is basically just a really shitty minigame.
But I guess since the game is called Gadget and the Gadgetinis, holy fuck, Gadgetinis takes up most of the title? And then I guess they have to include them.
One of them is a simple shooter where you run about beating up enemies, and the other is sort of like a shitty ripoff of that odd Space Invaders on the PS2.
What? You never heard of that? It's a really hot game.
Anyway, we beat the first stage and is on to the next one, which is Las Vegas.
Oh, so it's more stages in each world. I get it.
In fact, if you count the boss battles, yeah, there's bosses in the game. We'll get to them in a minute. There's 10 stages in total spanning over 4 worlds. In the second stage of Las Vegas, the game sort of cheats, meaning that they don't give you all the information.
Remember how Penny tells you everything you need to know in this game? Hey Uncle Gadget, press square, press triangle, and so on and so forth. Well, here's something she didn't tell you. Press L2 for magnetic boots. Oh yeah.
And don't think it's like Ratchet & Clank 2 or 3 where the magnetic boots made the game even better. No, they only work to get a grip. The reason I talk a lot about these boots is because we reach a jumping park with giant fans blowing you off. Fuck! Well, if Penny the British bitch would have told us that we could use the magnetic boots to stand there until the fans stopped, that would be great!
Don't get me wrong, I don't care much for tutorials at all. But when the game constantly pauses to tell you how to hit an enemy, how to walk or even jump, at least they could tell you the more cryptic parts too, right?
But no, you have to figure that out yourself. It is as if the game designers played 5 minutes and said, I'm not sure kids understand that you use the obvious jump button to jump. Better give them a tutorial.
And then they released the fucking game. At least that's what it feels like.
Anyway, we reached the first boss, and it's a giant building that shoots rockets at us.
Because that makes a whole lot of sense.
Truth be told, I could see something like this in the Gadget universe. What I can't see is a turd mountain at the edge of Gadget's hometown with Claw's Fortress on top. Back to the boss. I must admit, it's tough.
I don't know why, I just had quite the trouble beating this thing.
Maybe the controls were sluggish, maybe I sucked, maybe the game was programmed badly, I'm not quite sure. You beat it by pressing L1 to use Go-Go Gadget inflatable code.
Is it just me, or should they just call it Go-Go Gadget Inflato Suit? I mean, it sounds way more gadget.
Well, we beat the boss and is introduced to World 2 Stage 1, which is China.
Because, I don't know, they really wanted to add China, I guess.
This stage is interesting. There's not racially insensitive enemies at all. But we do get dragons breathing fire. Oh, my mistake. Dragon head statues breathing fire. Sort of like the gas leak in Las Vegas.
As I said, just a quick reskin, and that's it.
This time around we can upgrade Gadget to heal himself when he takes damage. That sounds fucking nice. So let's try and get some points. I'm using the helicopter since I really don't want to fall off due to bad platforming.
Wow, the pinnacle of gaming right here, people. Is this an out-of-season April Fool's joke? No, I believe the gaming company actually made the game this way because they thought their fanbase would like to slam their heads into a fucking wall and just get stuck.
Moving on, this stage includes a lot of what most people would probably call unfair platforming, like falling off the roof since you stepped on a pixel that wasn't implemented correctly. Fuck! I might also add that every stage makes the enemies tougher and more resistant to attacks. For example, some enemies can block your attacks and they deal more damage. Thank goodness I finally got the self-repair upgrade, but guess what?
Are you kidding me? It only works when I have 1 hit point left and only gives me 1 point extra? Are you fucking shitting me? Most enemies at this point deals 3 points of damage, and some of them deals 2, meaning that this upgrade is fucking useless.
Also get to this part where you have to use the plunger to stick to these things, sort of like a retarded version of Ratchet & Clank Slingshot. Nailed it. There's also spikes and this really unfair magnetic plate that sort of have a weird timer.
Feels like you have to be incredibly precise when pressing L2. And at the same time, it really feels clunky and unforgiving too.
On to World 3, yeah, there's no boss battle in China, who would have thought? World 3 is the WOMP headquarters. And just look closely at the design. It looks like it was designed by a madman. We have to escalate using these platforms to jump to these platforms only to get to this place leading to another room with even more platforms and lasers.
It's like they wanted this to be Mad Headquarters. But realized, oh, we're only at World 3? And, you know, a quick name change was easier to place the entire world at the fucking end.
We also have a lot of helicopter moments where you have to time it right. To be honest, at this point in the game you really feel like Inspector Gadget.
Mainly because you will mug up the different abilities and end up using your nuke instead of the helicopter.
Yeah, anyway, we also have this part, a giant drop down, down, down. You have to use double X to call out the umbrella in order to gently float to the next platform. A lot of games have these drops. I believe the Ratchet & Clank Future have some as well, but while they are fun and challenging, this is just annoying. Yeah, I get it. Move from platform to platform, shut down the lasers and security, rinse and repeat.
You got to be kidding me! All of that and just to get to the other side? Who the hell made this ass crap? That's a crap in the shape of an ass.
We also get introduced to the goggles, which makes invisible objects visible.
And this, let me tell you, is really an annoying ability. It's so rarely used that when you finally need to use it, you forgot you even had it.
Many times after this point in the game I stumbled upon a big gap only to realize later, after countless of sort of glitch jumps attempting to cheat the system, that I realized, oh right, I got the goggles.
It's just bad game design, and to make it even worse, even if you know the platform's there, if you haven't used the goggles, you'll go right through it.
Next stage is similar to the first one, only difference is this giant floor that you have to descend. Yeah, you actually have to move the floor down, a lot of floors actually, in order to proceed. Sort of like the entire room is an awkward elevator with no roof. Anyway, beat that onto Mad Island, which we're never going to get explained where actually is. Also, the entire WOMP headquarters? They never told us whether or not we actually stopped the mad agents infiltrating the HQ.
Gadget, now that you've destroyed everything here.
Okay, apparently us, the players, destroyed WOMP headquarters. Yay! And now we apparently have to do the same with Mad headquarters.
It's time for you to redeem yourself by doing the same thing to Dr. Claw.
This stage, rightfully so, is tougher than the other ones. The enemies have longer range, deals more damage, and the bubblegum cannon which we got in the last stage doesn't seem to work properly. The magnetic parts are really unforgiving and there's a cat head burping in our face. How lovely. One part I found really annoying was this really difficult platforming that almost made me go bald for pulling my hair out.
But you know, low budget, so I really can't go and get the makeup to make me look all bald and stuff.
Only to realize that at the end I could have used the damn goggles to look up an easy way through. That is fucking bullshit. Hey, you can go this tough route, but if you remember the goggles we put in the game, you can take the easy sissy route.
And you always notice stuff like this after you've done it. Feels like a bad sitcom, man.
After some time doing the second stage of Mad HQ, we get this part where we have to use the gadget legs. I might have mentioned this, but you can't move when you hold triangle. The only use is to make difficult and annoying puzzles like this. You have to stand on this floating grass.
Man, that just sounds weird, even for Inspector Gadget.
And when it floats away, you have to press triangle at the right time. Also, every time you press an ability, Gadget does this.
Gadget legs! Gadget legs! Gadget legs! Gadget legs! Gadget legs!
Oh man, can you imagine the parents having to listen to this all day? I think their reaction would be something like this. And I'll bet that his kids were playing this game right before he recorded the scene.
Finally, we're at the end boss, and wouldn't you have guessed it, it's the Mad Gas Machine. Because fighting Dr. Claw would have been too good for this game. No, instead we have this stupid machine that throws out missiles and is leaking gas. Oh, and by the way, all missiles are homing, meaning you can't stand still for very long. You even have to decide which missiles to deflect and which to plain out just avoid. Oh, and also there's enemies coming in to join the fun.
You think that's enough? Gee!
Finally beat it, and we're introduced to this still image with British Penny telling us good job.
Good job, Uncle Gadget. You foiled Dr. Claw and his plans.
Followed by the credits, with a lot of images and art from the actual show.
It's nothing special, I'll admit, but at least it did something more than just flat out spell you win.
The game has flaws, no doubt about that. There's little to nothing in the game, no collectibles, no replayability, it's straight linear with little to no platforming. Calling the game a puzzle solver is an insult to the genre, but you can see that they at least tried. The different abilities are nice, although they could have been utilized better. How about a stage where Gadget had to chase an airplane with the Gadget Copter? Or how about making the legs and magnetic boots more useful? Feels like it was rushed out to meet the audience as fast as possible. And trust me, they should have spent at least some more months on it. The controls are clunky and takes quite some time getting used to. I finished most of Womp Headquarters before I finally got the hang of it. The voice actors outside of Inspector Gadget does, well, not that good a job. Gadget sounds just like Gadget. But Penny sounds like she was raised in Oxford. Why? The bosses are literally a joke. The enemies are even worse. What if I killed them to take a look at the show and made some enemies and bosses based on that? In all honesty, I don't think that Hip Games knows what a cartoon is. It's for kids, who gives a damn, right? The worst part has to be that it took me under 3 hours to complete it. That's seriously not a lot for a PS2 game. Just ask anyone who have played Final Fantasy X. The game just sucks and is a bad cartoon-based video game.
Well, that was Gadget and the Gadgetinis on the PS2. Now, is this the worst game ever? No, it's almost mediocre. It's just really boring and has a lot of flaws. I'm the Angrynator terminating bad video games for your entertainment.